The Monday, May 24th, 2021 regular meeting of the Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For the purposes of this meeting, there is a quorum of the council present. Mr. Gene Anderson will deliver the invocation. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Hughes. Please stand.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for all of your blessings, and we just ask, Father, now that you would guide our city leaders as they conduct the city business, give them wisdom and understanding, and Father, we just pray that all of our citizens will prosper and benefit, Father, from their leadership. We thank you for all that you've done, and we pray, Father, for peace in the world as it's not everywhere right now, and we just ask for you to intervene on that part. For we ask these things in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. The next item on the agenda is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city council members, or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. If necessary, the City Council may convene into executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on this agenda. The public forum is now open. If there's anyone who wishes to address the council, please state your name clearly and add your address for the record. Seeing no one. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Good evening. My name is Marcus Yates, and I live at 932 Fitzhugh, and I'm come asking the council. A few of the people throughout the community has recognized Miss Joan Mathis, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you all know her. For the things that she's done throughout the community, for the children that she's helped, she's been my mentor, which I'm 60 years old, and she's been a part of the Paris Junior College for over 50 years. She's been part of the Boys and Girls Club. And if anybody deserves for anything to happen for a person of her caliber, basically what we're asking, the Johnson Street Park, I don't know if y'all familiar with it or not, a few of the members here is asking that y'all will consider changing the name from Johnson Street Park to Miss Joan Mathis Park. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else to speak? All right. The forum is now closed. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are approved by a single action of the council, with such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda. A council member may request any item be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Does any member wish to remove an item from the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Councilman Savage. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Regular agenda, item number 16, receive a presentation and recognition by Texas Coalition for Affordable Power of the City of Paris's 20-year membership.
Mayor, City Council, thank you for allowing me a few moments this evening to address you. My name is Margaret Summereve. I'm the Executive Director for the Texas Coalition for Affordable Power. And the reason I'm here tonight is because 20 years ago, the City of Paris passed a resolution to join with other cities working together for the benefit of all to form the city's aggregation power project. which was to help cities save money on their electric bills. So fast forward, and the city's aggregation power project merged with a group called the South Texas Aggregation Project in 2011, and we became the Texas Coalition for Affordable Power, with the same purpose to find energy rates that save our members money and in turn save tax dollars. With 168 members, TCAP is the largest organization of its kind in the state of Texas. As we begin our 20th year, we want to thank our founding members, those members that have been with us since the start and that have continued to be leaders in working together. On behalf of the Board of Directors and myself, I'd like to present this to the City of Paris as a thank you for being a member of TCAP.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you coming. And applause to our predecessors on the council who made a wise decision 20 years ago. Item number 17. Conduct a public hearing on the Texas CDBG contract number 7218152 Main Street Fund Project for grant closeout. Does staff have a presentation?
Good evening, Council, Mayor. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Charles Edwards with Resource Management Consulting. We're the administrative consultant over this project, and it has come to a close. We're in the proceedings of the closeout. Part of the closeout process is to provide the public opportunity to comment on the project overall and any complaints or comments that they may have. This is the forum to present that. But I'll give you a brief recap of the project. This was through the CDBG Main Street program. We applied in 2017, received a contract award in 2018. Construction was completed here very recently. It's along North Main Street, beginning at Houston. You've probably seen the sidewalk improvements and railings that have gone in through that area. Moves back towards Lamar Avenue on both sides of the street there, about halfway down the block. And then it proceeds to the west on Houston Street, kind of between the courthouse there, about 130 feet there. And then the traffic island bump outs there to kind of slow the traffic in that area. That was completed through the project as well. So be happy to answer any questions you may have on that project. Otherwise, congratulations on a completed project within budget.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Anyone have questions? All right, I'll open the public hearing then. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this item, please come forward, state your name and address, please. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Is there council discussion or questions? All right. The chair will hear a motion to act on closing out the Texas CDBG contract number 7218152. I will hear a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
As presented.
Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Savage. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 18, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of the City of Paris, Texas, to amend zoning ordinance number 1710, section 16-106, to change the fee for an appeal to the Board of Adjustment from $50 to $100 in order to be consistent with the city's most recent fee update. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. We have some housekeeping ordinance amendment items for you here this evening. In order to maintain consistency with changes made previously, we are now amending the section of the code that addresses the fee portions so that it will be consistent with the fee schedule itself. This particular case, we're having an adjustment to the fee for Board of Adjustment from $50 to $100 in order to be consistent again with that update in the fee schedule. So with that, we are recommending your approval this evening and to conduct a public hearing We did run this before the Planning Commission and public hearing. There were no comments or concerns. So we would recommend your approval tonight.
All right, thank you. I hereby open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this item, please come forward, state your name and address, and please speak directly into the microphone. Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Any discussion or questions of Mr. Mack? The chair will hear a motion to act on amending ordinance number 1710 to change fees to the Board of Adjustment appeal from $50 to $100.
I'll make a motion to approve that change and revise it from $50 to $100.
Thank you. A second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Stone. All those in favor of amending this ordinance, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 19, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of the City of Paris, Texas, to amend zoning ordinance number 1710, Section 16102, to expand the time allowed for an appeal to be made by the Board of Adjustment regarding the decision of a city official from 10 days to 20 days in order to be consistent with recent changes in state law. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Again, we have another item involving the Board of Adjustment tonight. Again, as cited in the agenda item itself, this is a change that was made at the legislature dealing with the amount of time that you have to appeal the decision of the board. As you may be aware, the decisions through variances or other appeals made to the Board of Adjustment, they make a final decision. It doesn't come before this board, so the appeal at that point would be to the district court. This increases based on state law that time from 10 to 20 days. And again, a public hearing was conducted at the Planning Commission. We received no comments, and we would recommend that the council approve this change and conduct your public hearing this evening.
Thank you. I will open the public hearing. Any wishing to speak for or against this item, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Any questions or discussion?
I have one question. So if this is passed, which I would assume based on state law it would be passed, but if this is passed, my question is would this be go into effect immediately? Or when would this go into effect as?
Yes, it'll go ahead and go into effect immediately. We don't have a Board of Adjustment meeting scheduled right now, so there's nothing pending or pressing right at the moment, but we need to go ahead and get this in place.
And then also in regards to letting the citizens know that they have this extra grace period for an appeal, does that go out in letters or is that made public via a newspaper article?
I can speak to that. That's cited at every one of the Board of Adjustment meetings. They talk about that protocol. It's published as a part of the agenda, and it's part of the notice that's provided to the applicant based on the decision action that's taken by the Board of Adjustment.
Yes. No other concerns. I was just curious. I just wanted to get that for the record. So.
I just have one question. Is that 10 business days or just 10 calendar days?
We would normally interpret that as 10 calendar days.
Okay. I think that's probably a good move. Any further discussion? All right, I'll entertain a motion to pass, amend zoning ordinance number 1710, section 16 through -102.
I'll make the motion that we amend the zoning ordinance number 1710, section 1602, to allow the appeal time to be 20 days, to amend it from 10 days to 20 days.
Thank you, Mr. Savage. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of this amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 20, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of the City of Paris, Texas, to amend zoning ordinance number 1710 by deleting section 12-100, part 33, specific use permits for mobile homes in various zoning districts because it conflicts with Section 4, Article 4.08, manufactured homes, mobile homes, and special vehicles. Is there a staff presentation, Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. One more time again this evening, a housekeeping item. We go and we correct and amend a portion of the code, and then we come to learn that it conflicts with a section that has not been updated to match. And so that's the housekeeping item with regard to this. There was a recent change in the code that was approved by the city that restricts new mobile home parks to the light and heavy industrial districts. And so in order to be consistent with that prior change, we are amending this section of the code and would recommend that you conduct a public hearing and approve it this evening. The public hearing was held again at the Planning Commission. We received no comment, and again would recommend that the council approve it this evening.
Okay, thank you. I hereby declare the public hearing open. Those wishing to speak for or against this amendment, please come forward and clearly state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Discussion or questions? So this would have really let mobile homes and such be in other districts other than what our recent zoning allows, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
In other communities, sometimes you'll have a unique district that's actually the base district for mobile home parks. Paris doesn't have it. It approves them through specific use permits.
Okay.
And the districts would be now restricted to just those two base zoning districts in light and heavy industrial.
okay. All right, the chair will hear a motion to amend Section 12-100, Part 33 of zoning ordinance number 1710. Do I hear a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to amend zoning ordinance number 1710 by deleting section 12-100, specific use permits for mobile homes in various zoning districts, manufactured homes, mobile homes, and special vehicles.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. No more discussion? All those in favor of this amendment say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 21, discuss and act on a resolution of the City of Paris, Texas, finding that Encore Electric Delivery Company LLC's application for approval to amend its distribution cost recovery factor to increase distribution rates within the city should be denied. Authorizing participation with OCSC, authorizing the hiring of legal counsel and consulting services, finding that the city's reasonable rate case expenses shall be reimbursed by the company, finding that the meeting at which the resolution is passed is open to the public as required by law, requiring notice of this resolution to the company and legal staff. Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, on April the 8th, Encore filed to amend its distribution cost recovery factor, and they do this periodically. It's a kind of a shortcut way to amend certain costs that they're undergoing. In this case, it's distribution revenues that they would like to increase to the tune of almost $98 million system-wide. The City of Paris is a member of the Encore City Steering Committee, which is a group that analyzes rate request increases. And in order to give them time to review that, we need to initially deny the rate increase, and then after they've had time to study it and maybe negotiate some with Encore, we will bring it back to the council for either approval or to deny it again. This is kind of routinely how we handle these things. Encore expects it to be denied, because this is just kind of the, I guess, song and dance we go through, to try to study it. So we recommend that you approve the resolution.
Okay, any discussion or questions of Mr. Anderson?
So if we deny it now and then it comes back later at a later date and we deny it then, what are some of the repercussions? What can they do if we deny it?
Well, I mean, they can go to the Public Utilities Commission, and try to get it overruled. But we have to deny it or it goes into effect automatically.
Right.
But that's one of the advantages we have of being in the coalition. It's not just the city of Paris versus Encore. It's these 168 governmental entities against Encore, and we stand a much better chance of being able to hold the rate down if it's not justified as a group. Now, if it's justified, we don't try to hold it back just to hold it back. We go through through the consultant, go through and analyze everything that they say is a reason why they need the increase, before we don't just let them have it automatically.
Okay.
Get that fixed.
Thank you. All right, thank you, staff. Council, any other questions?
No.
All right, seeing none, can we have a motion and a second to deny the rate increase?
I make the motion that we deny the rate increase for Encore. You read it out. I'm not gonna make all that.
Thank you, Mr. Savage.
I'll second what he just said.
All in favor of the resolution to deny Encore's raise in rates and to hire legal counsel, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion's unanimous. Thank you. Item number 22, discuss and consider a petition for disannexation of a 31.774 acre tract within the city limits of the city of Paris. Said tract located at 660 and 680 County Road 32900, LCAD parcels 50055 and 50056, and act on a resolution either instituting disannexation proceedings or denying the petition. Staff presentation, please.
Okay, as you noted in reading the agenda item, this is a disannexation request from Brandon and Kara Bond for the property at 660 and 680 County Road 32900. Excuse me, I'm having trouble speaking. The reasons listed for the petition for disannexation are a list of services that the bonds that they are not getting because they are out up this county road. They are receiving services except for water and sewer, or they can receive services except for water and sewer. There's no plan to extend water and sewer out to this property. Water from Lamar County Water Supply District is available. We have fire and police protection within the city limits there. There is trash service, which is a rate-paying service that's up to the property owner as to whether to take advantage of that service or not. We have the issue with this property is it is a single property owner requesting disannexation. There are actually two parcels, but if you looked at your materials and saw the maps, they are actually squished there together. They're contiguous properties. And there are no other requests for disannexation in the immediate area. That's going to create a keyhole. Our disannexation policy says that the city will consider disannexation of any area within its corporate limits if so requested by a majority of the property owners and if the proposed disannexation is part of an identifiable logical whole versus individual parcels which neither creates holes inside the existing corporate limits nor forces any other area of the city outside the revised city limit boundary line, which would be islands outside the city boundary lines. Excuse me. There's an additional statutory concern with this disannexation petition in that Local Government Code 43.057 provides that if the annexation or the disannexation in this case would create a keyhole, the governing body must find the surrounding area, that disannexing the surrounding area would be in the public interest. Staff is of the position that this creates a keyhole which violates our own annexation and disannexation policies, and that there is not a public purpose for disannexing this property. We have two resolutions for your consideration. One is if the council would like to proceed with disannexation proceedings with respect to this property, the resolution just tells staff to go ahead and get that ready and get that going. It also sets a number of hearings. It's 2 public hearings. There are publication requirements, notice requirements. There would be 1 special meeting because of the way that these hearings have to fall. It's almost calculus, getting your calendar together to figure out when these hearings have to be. So there would be 1 special meeting in there, but the final meeting on disannexation would be August 12th. So the other resolution is just denying the application for disannexation, and if council decides to do that, then there will be no further proceedings on the petition. Staff is recommending that you take that second course and deny the annexation petition.
Thank you, staff. Would you like to speak to this issue, Mr. Bond?
Absolutely.
Okay, please state your name and your address, please.
Brandon Bond, current address is 2465 Highland Road. Really, this is my first time, my wife and I's first time even in this building, so we're not familiar with the process. But what led us here was the frustration from the Planning and Zoning Committee. We were told repeatedly, we started this process in December. Well, I wish we could have bought materials for this house. All we're trying to do is build our house. But we were told repeatedly from the Planning and Zoning Committee we needed a specific information. And it was very frustrating. Now, I'm in real estate, and I went to multiple surveyors with the request, and every single surveyor told me the same answer. The city is misinformed. Back to the planning and zoning. Nope, you need this. And here we are, almost 6 months later, and that's really what led us here is just the frustration. And just 2 weeks ago, we pretty much got the answer that the planning and zoning was in fact ill-informed. So we felt good about that. However, since that meeting just a few weeks ago, things have soured, I guess you could say. The Planning and Zoning Committee doesn't seem really eager to help us out moving forward. And hey, we don't know what to do. This is our first time building a home. We really wish that they would work with us and help us, but they called our contractor 2 weeks ago a wannabe contractor, and that certainly didn't help the relationship. So we're just here pleading our case. We kind of assume how it's going to go, but thank you for your time to listen to us, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Bond. Whose property is this in? Yours?
Yes, so if I may have the floor for a moment here. So Brandon Kara, I'm new. This is my first full meeting on the council, and you guys happen to be my constituents. So I take your concerns very seriously, and being new to this, and you guys being new to this process, I would hope that we can work together. No matter how this goes, whether it's a yay or a nay or however you want to boil it down, I still want to be able to work with you guys. So before we head into executive session here in a little bit, I want to make sure I meet up with you and at least give you my phone number. I want to be able to work with you, and let's figure out a way to resolve. And also, just for your note, I was also on the Planning and Zoning Commission for about 3 years, so I have a good word in with them. Let's figure out a way to solve the problem, however this boils. Sure. But I want to be able to get with you, so.
Perfect, thank you.
No problem.
I think I have 2 big concerns. One is this has happened in my own district. We have a whole neighborhood that does not have water or sewer from the city of Paris. They get their water from the city of Reno, and they have septic tanks in their homes. And we had one resident, a couple, come and ask to be disannexed because they didn't have those services. But they had all the other services that any resident of Paris has. They have fire, police, EMS, library, I'm leaving something out. Oh, they can pay for their sanitation pickup and delivery. It might not be the city of Paris, but there are other companies that do that. And of course, we pay the city for our garbage pickup. And we have some good employees in that department. So that's a concern and I asked this young couple, did they know when they bought the house that it was in the city of Paris and that it had no water or sewer service? And they did. So, you know, I feel like when you go into it knowing, then that's kind of takes away the complaint. Also, the fact that we have an ordinance that says you can't create a keyhole, you are going to be surrounded still by the city of Paris. So when you call 911, Paris police or fire or EMS are going to answer that call, because the county is not generally going to come through the city of Paris to get to a call. And those are my two main concerns.
So were y'all aware of the water and everything not being accessible? Not
So
like what the mayor said?
We bought the property. It's unimproved. Nothing's ever been built there. Neither one of us were in real estate at that time, so no. We were not aware. The real estate agent, it was her daughter's listing, and so we just bought it thinking, hey, we just bought the property thinking that, hey, we didn't know if we were in the city or not, just because that's something that's not usually on, a normal person's radar. And it's taken us this long to get to that point. Now we've since added water, electricity, and here's what's even crazier. We removed a structure on there to put a foundation, and we had electricity already hooked up. Since then, the electric company will not issue us a permit, issue us service unless we have a permit, which city and planning and zoning will not issue that permit to us. So now we can't even get our electricity turned back on out there. It's been a nightmare, to say the least.
So just to clarify, you did not know?
No,
when you
I was
purchased
not
it?
aware, no.
So does that, since they didn't know, I thought they did know.
This was back 2016. Is that when we bought that place?
So if I may ask a quick question regarding, I guess, the disruption between P&Z and the applicants. Where did we go wrong here? I guess I don't quite understand the hang-up between.
I don't think it's the Planning and Zoning Commission. I think we're talking about community development.
Okay.
Staff. I think so.
Don't look at me. I don't know.
Well, you said they contacted your contractor, so who are the?
My contractor contacted planning and zoning because, and this may be a good example for educating the general public. Really, the only thing that they tell us and is if you have a question, it's on the website.
So are you sure they contacted planning and zoning? It's not like they have.
Yes, he contacted the city inspector. The city inspector
city inspector
told him that, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so and that's what had us all confused, because you said earlier that planning and zoning contacted your contractor, or whichever way it was.
No.
So, but it's actually the city inspectors that they're going back and forth with, right?
Right. Yeah.
Not the P&Z board.
Not the board.
Okay.
And maybe I'm not articulating the right people again. I've never been through this process, so forgive me if I misspoke.
So what services are you paying for that you're not getting? So I'm confused on that. What services are you paying for and not getting? Because the water, it's Lamar County, so you're paying for it there. You don't get a
Right.
bill from us.
No.
Okay, so what services are you not getting that you're paying for, or you feel like you're paying for?
Just the ones that they mentioned earlier. police and fire, I guess, EMS.
Well, you're getting
Yes.
that, right? You're
Yes.
getting that.
Those
That's
are the
available.
services, right?
Yeah, that's available. So that's still my question, for the reason for de-annexation, the way I understood it is that you feel like there are some services that you're paying for that you're not getting, but I haven't heard that.
Well, I would say that, only getting those services, I don't feel really, it's justified paying city taxes also with that. I would say that me personally, now that I'm in real estate, we're that close to the only recreational lake in Lamar County, and really, I would like to see the restrictions lifted even more for around the area to develop it. But as it stands now, I don't know if there's any plan to do anything with it out there. It's almost like forgotten. And to the point earlier, if it takes me going over to my neighbors to get them in here, consider that done. What's the threshold of not creating the keyhole? Like, how many neighbors, how many properties do we have to have? Does anybody know that number?
It's not an issue of numbers. It has to do with the relation to the current city limits boundaries, so that you're not creating just that hole.
Right. So if I'm not just creating it, but me and my neighbor create it, then would it be approved?
No, it would need to be so that how many ever properties there are, you're not creating a hole. You could
So the whole
create
street,
a
for
peninsula.
example, I know all my neighbors. There's about 7 houses on that county road. It's not hard to go knock on their door and ask them if they'd like to do the same thing, therefore not creating just a small keyhole for my own property. I just need to know where that limit is, what that number is, if it's a certain width, length. I don't know anything at this point of what would meet that requirement.
Well, you're going to need to look at your property in relation to the city limits boundaries, and look at what properties would take you out to a city limits boundary, so that however many number of properties that is, it's not creating a hole. It might create an indentation, but it's not supposed to create a hole.
Right, and so I'm aware of the keyhole based off the last meeting with planning and zoning. What I find interesting is that Campbell Soup is not in the city either. And to me, my property is just to the east of Campbell Soup, so that's, again, just as a normal citizen, that I understand they're large, but they're not in the city either. So where is the line, and who gets privilege over that?
Council members, if you look at the maps, you will see a large hole not too far from the Bonds property. That is the spray yard for Campbell Soup. We have tried over the last couple of days to determine exactly when that happened, and it is beyond the institutional memory of anybody that works for the city right now. It happened at least 60 years ago. We did not have the annexation policies and disannexation policies that we have now at that time. And I can't speak to exactly how that happened, whether it was ever disannexed or whether or not it was annexed around. I rather suspect it was annexed around, and that property is subject to environmental permits from the EPA or TCEQ or both. That land is really not good for anything else other than what Campbell Soup does with it. But as to the origin of that, I can't speak to that.
So just one more question. So you haven't built there yet, right? You're trying to build, right?
Right.
So what is it that the city is doing that's preventing you from building or hindering what your plans are? What is it? I mean, what's making you want to be de-annexed?
Have you ever built a home?
Oh, yes.
You ever built one in the city?
Yes.
So you've gone through the process?
Yes.
Have you done it before? Like, did you have any knowledge? Did you hire a contractor?
I had a contractor.
Okay, so we were just trying to do it ourselves because it should be easy, right? The problem is, again, they told us that we needed a plat. You familiar with the plat?
Mm-hmm.
You know the required acres for plat?
No.
Okay.
You can help me with that.
Well, so they told us that we needed a plat this whole time. And with having 31 acres, we exceeded the limit on the acreage required for that. So we did get that resolved, but that doesn't negate the fact that we spent 5-6 months on going back and forth with them basically, you need this, you need this, you need this. And I would go talk to people and surveyors saying that we did need that. Again, it's the list they have on the website. And I feel like if the city's requiring this, shouldn't it be easy enough for me to at least go on there and get it done, or at least work with someone in that office? I'm willing to do that. But you call them being the planning and zoning, and the common response is, it's on the website. Well, I'll play guitar, and if I handed you a guitar and said, hey, play this song, every note's on the fretboard right there, play it. You're holding it in your hand. It's a little bit more complicated than that. And again, from an education standpoint, maybe the message needs to be is, hey, how do we help our citizens understand how to walk through this process instead of saying it's on the website? Because someone that's never done it before, but really has a lot of grit and headstrong to try to get it done, we're up for that. We're not. Again, we only arrived to this meeting out of necessity, out of frustration of going, man, we were told misinformation, big time. Pretty much the whole process up until a few weeks ago at the meeting, we already met with them, with the Planning and Zoning Committee, and they told us that, in fact, what we thought the whole time was correct, that they were advising us on misinformation. And so we got that out of the way. And now at this point, trying to work with them, it's almost like there's some sentiment, that has grown dealing with us maybe. And I don't seem like that, hard of a guy to deal with, but.
Brandon, if I may.
Sure.
So, and I'll tell you, as a businessman here in town, I've heard this from many people, this same issue. And that's frustrating because I know from my perspective, right, if I'm developing something within the town, I've learned through experience being involved within the community to be able to come to the city and say, hey, listen, what do I need? And I think that's gone missing here.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to do. I know I'm new to this, and I know you're new to this. What I would like to do is at least guide you along the way and help you be a liaison between you and the city to figure out, hey, where do we need to repair? Because here's the deal. Here's what I hear from a lot of people within the community. We want younger couples to be here. You guys are young. We want this to be a welcoming way to be able to, move into the community.
Absolutely.
So I don't want this to be sour grapes between anyone. What I would like for this to be is a partnership between you as citizens and the city, because the city, everyone's working here to welcome people. And I know you want to be welcome. So let's figure out a way to do that. So again, however this boils down, I still want to work with you. And I think everyone up here and everyone in that crowd wants to work with you guys too. So I hate having to talk about disannexation. Instead, I want to talk about annexation. This should be a different conversation that I want to have. But I think that things have gone sour. What I want to do is make it sweet. So we need to figure it out. But either way, we want to work with you.
And likewise, being in real estate, you can imagine how often I hear that I don't want to build inside the city limits.
Absolutely.
It's more common to me probably than anyone else. And there's a real growing frustration with citizens of, again, this is our land, and people that I don't really know have more power essentially over what I can do there than I can. And that's a pulse really I feel like we're experiencing our nation, starting at the local level, of course. But we're 100% willing to work with anybody. It's just at this point, we've tried. We've been told the wrong thing, and finally we're justified, knowing that that was not correct. And again, with our contractor trying to work this out, all we need is help, and we feel like we didn't have another way to go, and so we figured it wouldn't hurt to try this route.
Well, we appreciate that, Mr. Bond, and I want to echo what Mr. Pankaj said, that we want you to be a satisfied customer of the city.
Sure.
We have new staff on board that I think is in a short few weeks has begun to make a difference in that department. And I would like for you to give them another chance, and I think any of our staff would bend over backwards to meet our requirements of our building codes and permits and inspections, and help you build a safe, happy, healthy home.
That's what we want. Absolutely.
All
So
right.
you just let us know how we need to get there.
Okay. Any more discussion? All right. I'll entertain a motion to deny the resolution, petition to de-annex the 31.774 acre tract of land.
I'll make the motion for option number 2, denying the petition of Brandon and Kara Bonds to disannex.
Thank you, Mr. Savage. May I have a second, please?
No second.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Second. It has been moved and seconded to deny a petition to de-annex 31.774 acre tract of land located at 660 and 680 County Road 32900 within the city limits of the city of Paris, making other findings and provisions related to the subject and providing an effective date. All those in favor?
Just add one word. The only reason why I would vote in this way is because I believe in this community, and I think that we need to go down a different route. So I'm just noting that for the record.
Okay. All those in favor of denying this resolution? All those opposed, no. It's unanimous. Thank you. And Mr. and Ms. Bond, we hope your first experience at City Council's positive. Item number 23, convene into executive session pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney. 1, to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the governmental body seeks to have, locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the governmental body and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations. Or 2, to deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentive to a business prospect described by subdivision 1 as follows: First National Bank Building and associated properties, downtown development, project highway, project fast track. Section B, 551-072 of the Texas Government Code, to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property if deliberation in an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the position of the governmental body in negotiations with a third person. All right, we're adjourning into executive session. Ms. Hammond, would you like to go first? Sure. Thank you.
Did you know the time?
Oh, the time is 6:16. Item 24, reconvene into open session. It's 8:04 PM, and there is no action to be taken. Item number 25, consider and approve future events for city council and/or city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. Anyone have agenda items? I'd like to discuss the charter review process and at the next city council meeting, as well as the possibility of a council workshop or retreat.
And Paula, I would like to add possibly on next agenda, the Johnson Park, renaming it.
Very
from
good.
Joe Mathis, if we can add that, that's my district.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Motion for adjournment in a second.
Make that
All those in favor say aye. Meeting is adjourned at 8:05.